This is part 4 of carrier oils, and we're going to talk about the last 4 oils that I normally teach on that I would recommend you try out as you experiment with your essential oils. The first one we're going to touch on in this video is rose hip oil. Now, if you don't know what rose hips are, then you need to go out at the end of the summer when the roses have dropped their petals, and where the place where they used to be, there is now a bulb, and it's like a pear-shaped bulb, and that's called a rose hip. Now, these are wonderful, and they are very high in vitamin C. They make a great tea, they make a great medicinal herb, but they're also a wonderful oil. They're good for burns, scars, and stretch marks. And so if you have any of those, it's a good one to be using. They are suitable for skincare and cosmetics. Rose hip oil is very high in vitamin C, and so it's very a good oil to be using with your skincare products. It is slower to be absorbed, so just be aware of that when you're putting it on. You don't want to put it on just as you're about to put on your makeup or as you're just about to dash out the door. You need to avoid it if skin is already oily or has acne. So if you have real oily skin or if you have acne, you want to avoid rosehip oil until those are cleared up. It has an earthy aroma, so it mixes real well with the earthy scents. It will mix with some of the other scents like your citruses and your flowers. Just be aware that it's going to bring a more earthy smell to it, a little more undertone of a heavier smell, but it smells good. Now, rosehip oil has a shelf life of 6 to 12 months if refrigerated, and again, you can mix it with other carrier oils to extend the shelf life, but it will need to be refrigerated. Just remember that. The next one is sesame seed oil, and this is obviously oil out of the pressed seeds. They are rich in vitamins E and B, so it's a high antioxidant. It's high in calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. So for those women who need extra calcium because they're worried about osteoporosis or osteoarthritis or possibly hip fractures later in life, this is a good oil to be using on a regular basis in something. You can either be putting it on your salad dressings or putting it in some of your skincare, your hair shampoos, hair care, just using it in some form on a regular basis, and then you'll be getting the calcium and the magnesium that you need, as well as phosphorus. It does not stain, so that's a wonderful thing to know when you're using it as lotion or body butter or something like that. It does absorb quickly, leaves a slightly oily feel for a little while afterward, but it has been absorbed, just feels a little bit oily. The interesting thing about sesame seed oil is that it can darken your hair. So you want to be careful when you're putting it in hair products, because if you have blonde hair, you might end up with a much darker color. You might want that, you might not want it. Just be aware of what it can do. Now, sesame seed oil is believed to remove toxins, and so it's one that many people will use for oil pulling. They'll mix a little bit of it with their coconut oil and oil pull on a daily basis. It is known to remove toxins. It should be mixed with other carrier oils to prevent overpowering aroma. When it's by itself with an essential oil, the aroma can be overpowering. When you mix it with another carrier oil, it tames the aroma, and it won't overpower your essential oils. And the shelf life of sesame seed oil is 6 to 12 months. Does not need to be refrigerated, but just be sure that it's in a cool, dry place like the pantry or your cabinets. The next one is sweet almond or almond oil. Now, this is obviously out of the pressed almonds. This one is an excellent moisturizer. It's very good for the skin. Almonds, because almonds themselves are rich in vitamin D, calcium, iron, magnesium, potassium. The oil is also high in these things. They boost the immune system. The almond and sweet almond oil are antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, analgesics, and they help wounds to heal much faster. They are also good for vascular issues such as spider and varicose veins. So if you have any of those issues, it's a good one to be using. Almond oil removes impurities and dead skin cells, and it helps the liver remove toxins. So this one feeds the liver. It feeds, and it's almost like a tonic for the liver. So as you're using it and it gets absorbed into the body, it will help the liver and help remove toxins within the body. I don't know of people who use almond oil to oil pull, like with sesame seed oil. But it does remove toxins in the body, so it's possible that it would be beneficial as an oil pulling oil. Almond oil is very beneficial to sore muscles, so this is a good one to mix with wintergreen or with peppermint to put into some sore muscles. However, it does leave a slightly oily feeling until it's completely absorbed, and it can stain some materials, so you just want to be careful, be aware of that. It does have a lightly nutty aroma, which does tend to mix with almost any essential oil. I haven't found an essential oil that doesn't smell good with it, but that's just me. I like the nutty aroma. To me, it smells good. You may not enjoy it as much with some of your oils. Just play around with it and be aware of it. And sweet almond does have a shelf life of 1 year. Again, doesn't need to be refrigerated, but needs to be in a cool, dry place. And the last one that I teach on is wheat germ oil. Now remember, we talked about castor oil being a drawing oil. It draws things out of the body. Olive oil is the nourishing oil. It nourishes the body. And wheat germ oil is called a building oil. It builds upon the nourishment that was already provided. Wheat germ restores overall health within a body. It boosts the immune system and benefits the nervous system. Wheat germ oil is an antioxidant. It is regenerative and stimulates the skin tissues, so it's another good one to have at night while you're sleeping. Wheat germ oil is high in vitamins A, B1, B2, B3, B6, D, E, and essential fatty acids. And it has a shelf life of 1 year. It too can be mixed with another carrier oil to extend its shelf life. Just keep it in a cool, dry place. And then the last things that I would tell you about carrier oils is make sure, and I know I've said it several times, that they're expeller or cold expeller pressed. You do not want any heat in the pressing of your oils, because then they start going rancid immediately. You don't have to use different oils for different issues. You don't have to have an almond oil in case you have sore muscles and coconut oil in case you have something else. You can have one or two and use it for almost anything, especially apricot, coconut, jojoba, hazelnut, and olive oil. You can use those 5 for almost anything. They're very versatile oils. So if obviously you don't want to go out and buy one carrier oil for each issue that you might experience or have come across in your life. So those 5 are very versatile. You can easily use any one of those for almost anything. 1 tablespoon of carrier oil and 1 to 2 drops of essential oil will cover a very large area of skin and usually allow for more than 1 application. If you just take a small bottle and put a tablespoon of carrier oil and a couple of your drops, you'll be able to cover a whole lot of your body and probably multiple applications. Carrier oil best used for babies would be hazelnut and macadamia. It tends to be much more soothing and calming to their delicate skin. So if you're dealing with babies, I would use hazelnut and macadamia. Skincare is going to depend upon what kind of skin you have and what kind of skin issues you're trying to address as which oil you will use. However, again, apricot oil is almost always a safe choice. So if you just want to buy one, if you have several people in the family who have multiple skin issues you're trying to address, I would just get apricot oil and work with that one. Store your carrier oils in a cool, dry place out of direct light, unless it needs to be stored in the refrigerator. And be sure to change out old oils that have gone past their shelf life. If making a solution with your oils to be used over time, be sure to mix and store the solution in a glass container, preferably a dark glass. Many of the essential oil companies also have also allow for you to order dark glass bottles to make your own blends. And it's highly recommended that you use those if you're making a blend that's going to be used over time. Whenever I make up a blend for coughs or congestion, I'll make quite a bit knowing that we're going to use it over time, and so I'll put it in one of those bottles and label it, make sure I know where it's at all times, and that it's being stored in a proper way so that it won't go bad, and then it'll be around to be useful for multiple uses. So those are the things that I would recommend, and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me on the website, and I will do my best to answer all those questions. Again, I wish that these were real life, but this is the best I can do at the moment, and I do pray that they bless you. Shalom.